You all look great tonight. So, yes.
We appreciate your time tonight. My name is Megan Berry. I am the lead FFA advisor this year, and I have the honor and the privilege of taking these kids to the National FFA Convention in October. So they are here to talk to you a little bit about their experience. I'm going to turn it over to my peers to introduce themselves before the kids do.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Davenport. I'm also the assistant FFA advisor who also joined Miss Berry and Mr. Kameen's on the nationals trip with these students and was also the coach of the MEETS evaluation CD team that competed at nationals.
Hello, Ed Belinsky. I teach mechanics here. I just hope you guys realize that there's so much time that gets put into this, so much work, extracurricular activities, learning what they're doing and actually going through themselves at the national convention. It is a really big deal for a program, especially for a young program like us, to send #1 state teams to Indianapolis. So thank you so much for having us.
Good evening, everybody. I think my colleague said it best. This is a huge honor, huge privilege. We thank you for the years of support you've given this program as we continue to grow and flourish. These kids represented us extremely well, and Megan do a phenomenal job of planning this trip. It's an immense amount of work and planning. I can't wrap my head around it, how they do it, but they are special, and I want you to hear from the kids tonight, so thank you again.
Hi, I'm Amanda Phillip. I'm this year's chapter president, and thank you so much for allowing us to have this amazing trip. Um, so a quick overview of the trip. We had a long bus ride, a 14-hour long bus ride one way. And we had a total of 28 kids attending the trip and 4 lovely chaperones. And we also had 2 state-winning CDE teams. Woohoo! We had meat eval and dairy evaluation, which was extremely cool. This is our first time ever winning a CDE as Chapag, and it's really cool to just be able to represent our program as such a new chapter.
Hello, my name is Hannah. So I'll be talking about the highlights of our trip. So we had this expo and college career area where we got to see colleges and also like companies that support ag and FFA, which was really interesting. As well as we had the rodeo, which was really fun and enjoyable way to end it. We had the Indianapolis Zoo that we went. As well as meeting new people from other states. It's like the greatest thing ever. You get to know a lot of new facts. As well as our opening session keynote speaker. He was amazing. He made it enjoyable. It was really funny listening to him. He made it much more enjoyable than it had to be. So it was really good to be there.
So just going off of what Hannah just mentioned, a lot of the favorite things that we saw or really got to do was to watch the rodeo. It was like it was my second time going to a rodeo. I had never seen one before. I had really no clue how the rules even worked, but it was really fun and enjoyable. A lot of networking was really cool. I got to meet a lot of different kids from different states, a lot of different accents, which was really cool. I loved hearing just the different voices. Um, the FFA jackets really brought us together because even though we did sound different, obviously from different parts of the country, we all wore that same blue jacket and stood for the same thing. A lot of it was just meeting new people, making new friends, and getting to compete, and that was really cool and really fun for a lot of us.
So I'm Mina. I'm our chapter's vice president, and so this was my third time going to national convention. But I'm every time you go, it's a like, completely different experience, and I had a lot of fun. So this year I'm a senior. I was able to go to the expo and kind of network with different college admissions officers. So I'm hopefully hearing back from some of them soon. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and also like the career tour, success tour was fun. We got to see Elanco. It's a pharmaceutical company for animals, and the general sessions were fun, and it was overall a great experience meeting new people.
So, as one of the teams that competed, which this year was me, the secretary this year, and our amazing president, Amanda, as well as Dan Baxter, who's also now sophomore. So the meat evaluation CD was where we competed in a freezer, knowing it doesn't sound as bad as it seems. Okay, it was really fun. Again, we got to meet new people. We also got to learn about the way they process meat, different identifications of meat, as well as a lot of other things that you don't really get so much in just a classroom. So it was really fun. Also, it was really cool going to the college that we were able to go, which was Purdue. So it was a really interesting experience. So yeah. Also, this year we have the second year going for meets evaluation Connecticut Chippewa winning state team, which first place goes to our reporter Rachel Stirk right here, who will tell you all about it.
Yeah, so like Hannah said, this year, Chippewa for the second year in a row was able to win the meat evaluation CDE at the state level. And myself, along with two other officers and another Chippewa FFA member, will be competing in Indianapolis again next year. And we'll have the same experience as they did at the state.
A little bit different. It's always different, which makes it interesting.
We haven't gone in a freezer yet, but we'll be there. We'll be there later this year. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Timothy Claprott. I am the chapter treasurer this year, and I got the opportunity to compete in the dairy judging competition with Emily Grant here as well. It was a great competition. We did three different events. We did a general knowledge test just to test our knowledge about the dairy industry. We also did judging classes to place how a professional judge would place the dairy cows. And finally, we did a verbal oral reasons, which is basically just telling why we place the cows in that way.
Hi, I'm Emily Grant. I got the privilege to judge at Indianapolis this year. It's a really good experience for anybody who wants to go, but especially to compete at the national level. It's just so life-changing for us. I actually have dairy cows and show dairy cows and judge outside of FFA. So to be able to go and do it with FFA was a really great experience for me. I think that the dairy industry as a whole is kind of such a dying thing, especially around here. So it was a real privilege to be able to, bring it back to Connecticut and go and compete for the national title. So.
Going back to this, just a little recap of what we did. We competed the Meet Eval team. That's just a little picture we took with the stickers that Ms. Davenport got us. It was very nice. All the advisors for the Meet Eval teams. got those stickers, and he was very kind and gave some of us. Right? And then another picture us at, or not even us, but just the room that we were in for the opening sessions. So we're in the Lucas Oil Stadium, which is huge, and you just see a sea of Blue Jackets, which is just so cool and very comforting at the same time, even though it's a little bit scary because you don't know anyone in that room. But you still get to meet so many different people. We met people from Puerto Rico, we met people from Arizona, we met people from pretty much everywhere. I think the only one that was kind of hard to find was Alaska, but that was really it. But yeah, they made it a challenge actually. You have to find someone from each state and have them sign your paper just to get us to know people. So yeah, it was very cool. But yeah, agriculture is the backbone of America, and it's a great way to sum this up. Thank you so much for letting us do this.
What events did they have in the rodeo? I mean, did they have,
As a rodeo enthusiast myself, I remember there was bull riding and a lot of bareback. I think that was mostly it, but they also had a bunch of special events where there was like tricks. The girl was, it's hard to explain, but do you know the girl who does all the show stuff, rides on a horse, hangs off of it? Very fun.
that's great.
We love the rodeo.
Did the bull riding, was that literally the bulls that we see periodically on TV or?
We had people coming from like all around the world to do some of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't come to the board to ask for money to take you to Spain because we will not support that.
All right.
No.
thank
No, we're
you.
not supporting. We don't want. Well, you've just made us all, we're so impressed with all of you and we're so proud that you go out there and represent us in the way that you do. So thank you so much. And yeah, anybody else want to say anything before?
Well, they're always impressive. And also the staff, the teachers that are with you every day, they do an incredible job. I was just saying, I'm forever impressed every time I visited classrooms. You're just such a respectful group. I need people to hear that as well. And that's just so wonderful.
Thank you all for coming. Yeah, I know. So funny. So moving on to public comment on agenda items only. Is there anybody here who would like to say anything? Anyone? No? Moving on. We're going to table the consent agenda, the minutes for this meeting. We'll have them ready for the next time we get together. So I just want to let everybody know that. And now we're moving on since it's agri-science night. I'm very excited about that. Carrie, you're going to do an update on the curriculum.
Good evening, everybody. Since it's Agri-Science Night, I thought we might do a little overview of some of the ways that the Agri-Science program is just part of the Chippewa faculty and staff, and that the things that the staff members in Agri-Science do are exactly the same as all the other departments at Chippewa. And so specifically curriculum and professional development, I just thought I'd give sort of a little overview on that, and then have some of the teachers come on up and give a little more specifics about some of those things. So just like all the teachers at Chippewa, they participate in writing and revising curriculum. Everyone uses the exact same unit template in our software that we use called Atlas. They create a unit or a course overview and a unit overview. They select standards. They have some different standards that other departments don't have, but standards that are specific to their area. They have concept, skills, vocabulary, just like any other unit of study. And then there's a place in the unit template for teachers to add specific things that they create that help them teach the unit of study. And periodically they revise curriculum based on maybe new resources that have been found or shifts in focus or lessons or activities that they've discovered. And sometimes it's because of professional development that they've gone to where they learned something new. So these expectations are in place for all content areas and all grade levels. As you know, one of the goals of the strategic plan is to share our curriculum with the public through our website. And all teachers have been and will continue to work toward this goal, including our agri-science teachers. So here's just sort of an example. This is a small sample of the courses and units that are part of our agri-science program. We have a course called Agri-Science Engineering and Mechanics. And then those are a few of the units, a couple of the units within that course. There's a course called Farm to Table Production, and those are a few of the units that are within that course. There's a course called Plant Systems. Those are a few of the units that are in that course. And this is, I mean, there are many, many agri-science courses. This is a small snapshot, but I thought maybe on next few slides, I might go into detail. It's going to be very tiny text, so you're not going to read what's on the screen, but it'll give you a sense of the amount of work and the level of detail that teachers go to when they write some units of study. So for example, one element of one unit within a course, and every course has several units, might be a unit overview. And so this would be the place where a teacher is writing out sort of the big picture. What are we going to cover in this unit of study? And then they would look at the standards that are available to them and choose the standards that are appropriate for that unit, that are going to be taught in that unit. The agri-science teachers choose from several different types of standards, but one type of standard that is unique to them, and you guys just back me up on this if I think I'm saying this correctly, are the AFNR standards, which stands for Agri-Science, Food, and Natural Resource Standards. So that is something that you might see in a unit of study in an agri-science course that you're not going to see in our math department or in our language arts department. Another element of a unit are, these are more of the possible standards. For example, we might, and some of the classes in agri-science might tip into some of the other areas, like this one has some science and engineering practices. And then every unit will have some enduring understandings and essential questions that sort of guide the concepts that will be taught through the unit. And then then we get a little more specific in terms of concepts and skills that we want students to understand, to know and be able to do by the time they're done with that unit of study. And then we identify essential vocabulary that might go with that unit. And we try to think about what kinds of assessments might we have in place that are going to help us assess whether students have met the goals of that unit. And that is, that's a unit of study. Those are some elements of the unit of study. And I don't know if you want to ask any questions about that, but I'll keep going on professional development. And then if you want to ask questions about any of that, you can. Go ahead. So I also wanted to share that our agri-science teachers, just like all of the teachers in Region 12, follow a process for requesting professional development, beyond what we're doing in our district. They participate in all the professional development that we do here in Region 12, and also, like all teachers, have specialty workshops and conferences that they might want to attend to, develop themselves specifically. This is the same process that we have in place. They request, they give a rationale for why they might want to attend. They talk to us about the possible costs, they get approval. And then when they come back from their conference or their workshop, they write up a summary of how, of their experience, and then how they think that professional development is going to impact their students. And so on this final slide, I just wanted to give, I went back, I know the PD that teachers have gone to in the 24-25 school year, but I also searched back the last couple of years to sort of get a sense of some of the workshops and conferences that our agri-science teachers have been to. And here, anything from the beginner honeybee class to learn how to work with honeybees to a huge, that top conference up there, the CASE conference is a huge conference, multi-day conference, usually somewhere far away. And then even, we have some ECE classes in our agri-science program, so teachers have to be annually recertified to teach those. So lots of different, professional development experiences that teachers go to make sure that they're staying current on what they're teaching and also learning some new things too. So those are my slides. Anybody have any questions about that, about curriculum or professional development for our agri-science teachers? All right, so what I thought I might do, and if there are more questions after this, that's fine too. I thought maybe I'd bring up, Tyler's going to come talk about plant science specifically and just give an update on that pathway within the program. And then Ryan's going to come up and talk about our equine program a little bit. Is that a good order? Great, come on up.
Hello again. Yeah, as Carrie said, it's been great to be able to get back into the classroom this year and start, really focusing on building those relationships back with the kids after, being absent for a year. So I'm only teaching 2 classes, the sophomore level plant science and the junior senior level plant science class. But we've been fortunate to do a lot of cool project-based learning things, such as the living wall restoration project in the mall was a big one. We continue to donate tons and tons of produce to our local food banks, which is personally my favorite part of what we do. There's not many kids that get the opportunity to do that. But in addition to that, we're responsible for the campus beehives, the 4 beehives on campus. I've gotten to collaborate with Megan Davenport in her farm to table class. Our produce that we grow goes to her lab. They make pesto and salsa and do other cool stuff with it down there. Ed Belinsky has helped us with the sawmill. So there's a lot of cool crossover opportunities that we have in our department, and that's only possible with this group of teachers that we have. Ryan Blatchley is also teaching the freshmen, four classes of freshman plant science out there, so I get to work with him a little bit in that capacity, and he's learning a whole lot. His comfort zone, as he'll tell you here tonight, is animals, but he's becoming a well-rounded educator with his experience teaching freshmen out there as well. But it's been great. Our focus now is sort of shifting into our spring plant sale. I know it's a long ways away, but my juniors and seniors are sort of going to treat this like a business project. So they're going to plan out when they start all the seeds, how their expenses for all the flats, all the soil, all the everything that they input into the sale. And then they're going to be responsible for keeping profits and seeing how they did. They got to make a calendar of our planting dates and everything. So it's kind of extensive, but that's one of the major things we'll be working on soon. As well as we're going to do a mushroom growing project. I got like some shiitake mushroom stuff coming in. I'm going to have Ed get some logs for us to inoculate with mushroom spawn. We're going to grow some mushrooms back here. Got some cool projects lined up for spring. And it's always busy. Bees will be back too. But yeah, it's been great. So that's kind of the plant science update. While I'm up here before Ryan speaks, I just want to quickly recognize this group of teachers. I think that we have achieved a great amount of success the last couple of years, and it couldn't happen without these guys over here. These are the most competent, hardworking, dependable group of teachers that I've ever worked with. They are really, really, really good. Kids love them above all. It's the most important thing. And our program is flourishing, like I mentioned. When I think of the markers of a successful program, I always come back to the 3-circle model: classroom, laboratory, SAE, FFA. I'm fortunate enough to be the evaluator of these guys. I get to firsthand see their classes every day. I don't want to leave whenever I do evaluations. They are really, really dedicated to their craft. They know a whole lot more than I do. They're just phenomenal, and this place is going to continue to grow and prosper because of them. the FFA. Megan and Megan have done a fantastic job of revitalizing the FFA chapter. You can see the 28 students we brought to national convention, the nationals winning teams. We're getting CDE teams after school. Just culturally across the board, our program is excited. They're showing up. They're doing more. They're more engaged. It's just a great place to be right now. And the first time in my 3 years, every student in the program has an SAE. So we're just more good things to come. But you should know that this place is in good hands. This is a good group of people that you have here running this place. And just stay tuned because this is the early stages. These are young teachers here too, but they are phenomenal. And thank you guys all for supporting us on what we do each and every day. So thanks. Yeah. If you have any questions before Ryan comes up too, I'd be happy to answer anything.
Last year, in the last school year, you didn't teach at all, correct?
Correct.
And then this year you've taken over 2 classes for plant science.
Yep, that's right. Year-long classes.
And then the rest of the team filled in some of the other plant science classes.
Yep. Oh, and Megan Davenport has actually established the floral design program out there this year as well in the plant science facility. So you guys have probably seen the floral arrangement of the month. They are producing some really high quality floral art pieces out there. I walked by her room the other day. That was a full class, 12, 14 kids in there, all happily making little mug arrangements. So that's another really, really up and coming area of our program, thanks to her and her hard work.
Good question. Being a former beekeeper,
Yeah,
do you guys spin your own honey?
we do. That's another, thanks for mentioning that. That's another cross-curricular thing with the food science class. We brought them all of our frames of honey. They extracted it all, bottled it. Our plant science students did some too, but the food science kids did most of it.
So with 4 hives, how much honey did you get?
We got probably, well, we saved a lot for the spring. So our goal, we got 10 or 12 bottles only, and we saved the rest because we want those bees to get through the winter.
Right.
And then next year, based on what we had in the winter, leading into the winter, we should have a lot next year. But our problem has always been getting those bees through the winter. So we really wanted to.
Do you wrap them?
We didn't wrap them, no, but everything's tight, sealed. They got lots of honey in there.
Any vermin problems? Bears?
Yeah, skunks
Regular?
actually, but
Skunks?
yeah, I saw some skunks out there. We put like little spike boards down to get rid of them. They didn't come back.
What I used to do is I would put them on, there's a stand. You
Yep.
literally get them off the ground.
That's it.
Then the skunks have to come up and they're exposed their belly.
That's good for you. That's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
Their backs are really hard. They can't sting through the. Yep.
Yep.
Nice job, Alex.
Yeah.
He's right. Exactly right.
Well, yeah. What can I say? When I'm not riding a Brahma bull. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. First is my oldest graduated in 2020, not in ag, but before he was allowed to take cooking. Now you have flower arranging. What are we doing to open up those classes that are not full to the kids who are not in ag? Number 1, to get the kids who are in ag, interacting with the kids not in ag so they can feel more a part of the Chicago community, and also giving the kids not in ag a taste of classes in ag.
Yeah, no, that's an important thing, and I know the board has been vocal about that. We're continuing to have those conversations. There hasn't really been a whole lot of interest from non-ag students. There are some, and counselors keep us in the loop on that on a case-by-case basis, but that's something that we still discuss and certainly consider.
And then second, have you thought about, obviously the trip to Indianapolis is expensive and trips up to UConn, having a night where you charge the public a certain fee and they come in, the kids could get SAE hours and you open it up to the public and they come in and they make flower arranging.
Yeah, that's another good idea. We really only have the bandwidth for so many fundraisers a year, and we're trying to focus mostly on the 2 holiday fundraisers. And we just kind of are in the preliminary discussions as a department on how we can raise more funds. We've just been talking about it recently after our conversations. And there are some ideas floating around, but to be determined exactly what we're going to do. All right, thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Blatchley. I'm the newest hire here for the Chippewa Equine Science, Agri-Science program for equine science. I was just going to quickly just talk for 1 minute, just a little bit about me. So I grew up in production ag my whole life around beef animals, dairy animals, goats, and cows. And then I spent a lot of my life in the equine industry as well. So I spent 2.5 years professionally training in the reining industry. I left that in New York, training with some of the best horses and best riders in the industry. And then I ended up coming back to Connecticut, where I then did a short duration back landscaping like I did when I was in high school and excavating. And then I applied for the job here at Chippewa. And I'm really, really blessed to be here with such a great faculty and staff and the support from all you guys on the Board of Ed, to all the people that we have who support our program community-wide. And then I just kind of want to talk about kind of what we've been doing here in the Equine Science program so far. I'm happy to announce that the barn is full. We have 4 full-size horses and ponies, and then we have 2 of the miniature ponies. We've been really engaged with the students riding and using the facility to its fullest extent. So when the weather was nice and warm, unlike it is right now, we were outside in the outdoor, riding in the outdoor. We had some local industry professionals help us driving the horses. We brought in a Percheron horse with Mr. Bill Carrier, who is a known native here and has been very supportive of our program, helped teach the kids how to drive, as well as anywhere from my 7th grade classes that I teach and really enjoy flourishing and exploring agriculture with these young individuals. In this picture here on the left, all the way down to my sophomore class, learning how to safely and correctly halter horses, to our more advanced riders here on campus, delving into the nitty-gritty of equine science, and then doing our suture lab with my 11th grade and 12th grade equine science, where they're learning more technical, more finesse, more skillful techniques in the equine industry. We had a really successful horse expo this fall that I managed to get off in about a month with a lot of industry professionals. And it was a really big success for the time that we had to advertise and publicize this event. And we had industry professionals local and far come, so dressage riders, hunter jumper riders, reiners, you name it, we had it, natural horsemanship. And we had some industry professionals that are, veterinarians, chiropractics, doing demonstrations, as well as some local horse therapies that came. We had a lot of local support from our local vet here, Tri-State, that we use for all of our animal care. They came and gave us all goodie bags for all the people that attended, as well as some other vendors that came to help just support and promote their products, but also allowed the kids to network a little bit and build their networking base here in our community, here in Litchfield County, as well as just statewide. This is a few other examples of our expo. Jack, who's a senior student here, he was helping demonstrate how to make different things out of horseshoes. So in that picture there, he's making a little heart that he then gave to a fellow community member, as just an example of showing how our students are kind of getting into this industry profession. I know that Jack trends to want to lean towards farrier apprenticeship after he graduates here at Chippewa. So just allowing him to showcase his skill set that he's learned as he's interned with our local fair that we use here at Bill Lemoy, and kind of just showcasing to our community that our kids are learning a lot and doing a lot and are going to be a lot within our equine community. We also have some other industry professionals, people from upstate New York that came down to help support our program, as well as some other industry professionals. We had a representative from UConn here teaching and kind of lecturing on an in-class event here. And then just overall, just a big success for turnout for our event, being that it was on a holiday weekend. This year, we have decided to make this event a 2-day event, and I actually invited Little Britches to come and have their show here with us on the Sunday of the event. So they're going to be hosting their show here, and we're going to be partnering with them for the event this year. So just a little bit overview of what the equine program has kind of grown into since I've started, and I'm looking forward to the years to come and kind of making this really a place known for equine, not only just statewide, but nationwide. Thank you. Yes.
How many of the 5 horses are ours?
So we have 6 horses total. 3 of them are ours, and 3 of them have been free leased to us to industry professionals who have graciously let us lease them and at no cost.
That's nice. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Evening, everyone. Listening to Ryan, and I got nostalgic for my interview 4 years ago when they told me I had to stay on a bucking bronco for 15 minutes out back in order to win the job, and I did it. You don't know these things, right? Yeah. Well, that was wonderful, and I'm really proud of our agri-science students and teachers and all the work they're doing to enhance our school. It was just great to hear all that. And now I'd like to just take a few minutes of time to talk about how we're trying to expand and maximize the support services that we want for our students. Of course, we want the best services for our kids. And student needs, you know, are more and more complex today than ever before, perhaps. And there is an uptick in students and families in need and crisis. And all those complex needs are met in schools, as you know, by a team of counselors, school counselors, and school psychologists and social workers. And now, at this time in Region 12, we don't have any social workers, which is a bit unusual. And I just wanted to start a conversation tonight about the value that social workers can add to schools. And to help us understand really the key conceptual difference between social workers and some of these other professionals, the training they have and the work that they do and the way they operate, is that the social workers' training and expertise addresses not just the child as seen in school, but the total environment, the total comprehensive environment of the child, including things like family needs and dynamics and social history. And then after considering all those complicated factors, directing the child and the family to specialized outside resources that most of us have never really even heard of, and that would seem very obscure to us. So I just want to spend a minute just sort of outlining some of the ways that shows up in the work of social workers. And I'll put it up in a moment then, but I'll try to cash all this thing. That's terrible to see that up there. What? No, I have to say. I'm here to make you laugh if I can, gang, a little bit. And I'm going to have a chart that we put up behind us here that's going to outline these differences, but I want to try to cash it in with a little bit of data. So I was talking to our counselors and our psychologists, and I asked them about their experiences recently and the ways they spend their time and the kinds of work that they're doing. And they estimate that between 15 and 25% of their caseloads are spent working on the kinds of complex things that normally social workers would do. And they do it beautifully. But while they're doing it, they're taking time away from their preferred functions that their training is best for. And it creates inefficiencies and maybe a system that's not as healthy as it could be. So again, for example, as I said, first of all, social workers can think about the problems, the systemic problems that plague people that go deeper than just the walls of the school. Societal problems, poverty, addiction, families in crisis, those kinds of things. And then help them find funding and resources and community help that maybe wouldn't be aware, that our other professionals wouldn't be as aware of. They also have a more advanced training in clinical practice, and they can do more. They can actually diagnose people under DSM and provide a more robust kind of mental health counseling than other professionals. And they're also experts at connecting people and building climate, which is going to be a big project in schools in the coming years as we continue to look at new climate policies. And social workers are the ones most likely to take kids who might not fit in the overall environment or climate of the school and put them together in a group and help them connect. So in summary, social workers focus on holistic systemic problems, reaching out to the child's family and community conditions. Counselors focus on academic and personal growth dynamics inside the school and future post-secondary planning. And psychologists specialize partly in mental health, but place special emphasis on testing and learning interventions. If you take a look at I want to read it at you, but I'm not confident you can see it. So I'm just going to. If you look at the focuses, see that a social worker can bring to bear a bundle of training, experience, and connection to resources that's rather specialized, and that can take some of our students with most complex clinical and social needs and give them the most robust interventions. And what, in doing that, allowing therefore our counselors to focus more intently on their main purpose and our school psychologists to focus more intently on their main purpose. So this conversation starter is just as a preview to see that we've been having discussions about the value social workers could add in our schools for our students. And you'll be hearing, I think, from the superintendent in her budget presentation about the importance of a social worker here. And I just wanted to make myself available to introduce the idea and answer questions if you have any.
How many would we be looking at for? Is this for the entire Region 12 schools, or is this just for Chappaqua?
The entire Region 12, we would all share one social worker.
Thank you.
I appreciate. Any other questions?
Well, I would just argue what, did you say something? Oh yeah. I would say one at minimum for me personally, just because I know that the 3 elementary schools at the moment are, and I'm not putting you in the hot seat, but I think that the 3 elementary schools in general are already spread pretty thin. But I'm encouraged to know that we are starting with a social worker possibly to share. So thank you.
Thanks for your attention.
In the right
Alex.
direction.
Yeah, have we had a social worker in the past, or you've never had one?
Well, I can find out for you if there was one here before my time. I only go back 4 years at this point. There certainly has never been one here when I've been during my time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
For my time as well. But we did have a social worker. Allie started 13 years ago. There was a social worker when she started. I do not know why that person, when they left, was not why that position was not refilled.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to the board's report. That would be me. So first, I'd like to just start. I had a conversation with Daryl Wright this week, who is a member of the Washington community. He serves on a few different boards in reference to the college on the scholarship council for a few of them. And the conversation was that the community has millions and millions of dollars in college scholarships, and we don't have students applying for them. So obviously, we want to make sure that we are informing the community of such opportunities. So I spoke with Don Shells, and so we're going to start the process of maybe creating a committee just to start to brainstorm, right, Don, about the ways that we can start sharing that information, not just with students, but with parents, because I think it's really important and has a lot of value to it. So I'd like to thank Don for working with me on that, and also for Daryl for bringing it to our attention. So, yeah, please, yeah, please tell. Yeah, yeah. That's right. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I certainly would have gone and taken a tour of Rutgers if I knew that. So, anyway. And I also want to just share something that I wrote down just because I wanted to organize my thoughts in a kind of thoughtful way, try to be as thoughtful. It has been brought to my attention by several people that the Agri-Science Advisory Committee that convened last week to discuss various matters relating to the agri-science program. Unfortunately, the overall tone of the meeting was perceived as negative and lacked support for our agri-science staff, board, and the superintendent. While constructive criticism and opportunities for growth are always welcomed, it is imperative that discussions remain productive and fosters a culture of collaboration rather than discouragement. As we all recognize, nothing is perfect, and there's always room for improvement in everything we do. The role of our Agri-Science Committee is to provide support and add value to the program, working collaboratively with district leadership and acting as ambassadors within our community. The committee's purpose is not to try to impose expectations or operate behind the scenes, but to rather serve as a strong and united voice for the staff and the administration. Our goal should always be to work as a cohesive team alongside the superintendent, principal, director, and teachers to strengthen the program. I would just like to extend our gratitude to the agri-science staff. We know how hard that you work, and the board fully supports you and deeply appreciates your dedication, your hard work, and your commitment. And tonight proved that. And the students obviously are the shining examples. Your efforts are invaluable, and we remain committed to fostering an environment of respect, collaboration, and encouragement. So that's what I'd like to say about that. And that's it for my report. Lori?
Hang on one second.
We're gonna wait to your agri-science.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I think since the groundhog delivered the ominous prediction that we will have 6 more weeks of winter, we're already feeling that and sensing that with more snow perhaps on the horizon later this week. If we can possibly get away with more delays rather than cancellations, that's a win-win for us, as we did today. But we'll see how that plays out in the next month or so. On another note, as you are aware, we have begun with some brief presentations that I like to call budget teasers. You heard Carrie Snowden in the last meeting talking about new courses at Chippewa, and all of that comes with some additional courses, not just the courses, but curriculum writing, training for staff, and based on student numbers, of course. For example, in math, perhaps some new texts. Tonight, you heard from Agri-Science and all of the staff to talk about their programs, and also Don Shells. Thank you very much. Don took that on, and he was also representing the other 2 principals, Emily and Emily, to share that information about what we perceive to be an important next step in getting more support personnel. Just for the record too, we're also, it's always a start, and thank you for saying that because that's important. We just had a conversation today about looking into internships as well, perhaps in a school site. So more is on the way, and you can fill some of that need in more ways than just an FTE hire. Regarding the budget, I feel extremely confident that we're putting forward a really strong budget. Many thanks to Nicole, and she's amazing, as well as all of the district leaders on the team. A budget I think you're going to agree is fiscally responsible, sustaining our programs and services, and most important, making improvements in the areas of need, as you've heard in the last couple of meetings. And very excited. My presentation will be on February 24th. And then finally, just one resignation this evening under personnel. Michelle Cole, who was our agri-science assistant at Chippewa in the barn. And we will be, if it's not already posted, looking for someone to fill that position. That's all I have this evening.
Moving on to the treasurer's report, Alex.
I have nothing since last week. Nicole, is there anything that we talked about? No, we just met last week, and also for the F&O, when I get to it, we have not met since last week either. So I will have no.
Agri-science, Mary.
I wasn't going to speak about that meeting until I had a meeting of the Agri-Science Committee, but since you brought it up, yes, it was pretty much negative. The board was attacked, and so were our teachers, and I didn't like it at all. I was going to speak with Lori. I was going to tell her tonight that I want to speak with her, but since it came up, I actually had to say something. We were being attacked like they don't listen. The board doesn't listen to us. And I'm like, that's not fair. That's not a fair assessment of what goes on. Oh, you don't do this. You don't. Actually, we do that. And actually, we have had presentations at the board level. So it was annoying to me. And I'm sure it was annoying to our teachers. And I'm really sorry that happened, because you deserve better than that. You deserve to be commended at all levels, because you're just doing such a terrific job that I don't want to lose any one of you. So thank you. And I appreciate you, and we all appreciate you.
Thank you, Mary.
Mary, question. Was it one person or the whole group of?
No, it was mostly one person that was really a spitfire about this, and just kept, everything she said was negative. And I was like, well, yeah, how could you say that? How could you make these assessments when you are not there? You're not here at our board meetings. I don't see you here.
It's also important too that the meetings they're ran in a way that is also expected to be respectful. So I think that's important on any board,
Right, and any meeting.
A level of respect that is expected.
Yes, and I hope that happens. But
Well,
our regular Agri-Science Committee meeting will take place in March.
It will. Okay, curriculum.
Nothing new. Our next meeting is next Monday.
And advance.
Nothing new. We haven't met this month yet, and we're scheduled for Thursday.
Great, thank you. Finance and operations, Alex. Labor negotiations, right?
Nothing really new, but we have some items on the special the executive session tonight.
Policy. Justin.
So we just met an hour or so ago. So just gonna quickly read from my notes here what we talked about. The motion was made to recommend the removal of policy 5131 and policy 5131.1 and replace that with CABES policy 5131.911, which is the policy that we will be voting on tonight. Second set we looked at was business non-instructional operations. A couple of changes there that will be brought to the board for a first reading at our next meeting. And the last one we looked at was Title IX, and we are starting to look at some changes in Title IX. We do need more guidance from Shipman before we make a recommendation to the board.
Strategic long-range planning, we have not met, so nothing to report.
I don't know if Jane had wanted to say anything about the agri-science meeting, but she attended also by Zoom. If we could take a look and see if she wanted to say anything.
Ben's been watching.
Okay.
She said, I can't see that from.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Jane.
What Mary said, I totally agree with. Mary and I talked. I was very upset with it. It's this agri-science group of teachers. I'm like, I get goosebumps when they talk about how hard they're working. And from what I'm hearing from families in the town, kids love what they're learning. So it really was just one person that was really negative. And I just want to know what, in terms of that advisory board, do they have any control over curriculum?
No.
I don't know.
Carrie's shaking her head no, and Lori's saying no as well.
Okay. Okay, good.
And thank you for asking that question, Jane.
All right.
Great. Gonna say something else. I'm just gonna keep going. Old business. To consider for approval, second read of policy 5131.911. Yes, Greg. Second. Discussion? All in favor? Anyone? Just no? Any no's? No? Abstain? Moving on? Great. New business? Nothing? Nope. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Wait, I'd go for executive session. Can I have a motion for executive session? Sorry. And we're going to invite Lori and Nicole into the meeting.
I move we go into executive session to discuss the unaffiliated salaries and discuss attorney privilege union agreement retirement. And that we invite Lori and Nicole.
Second. All in favor? Let's go. Thank you. So we wanted to make a motion. Microphone, please. Microphone, Alex.
We accept the list of the for the budget of the unaffiliated employees, with one exception. The director of finance, instead of being 3%.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? It passes. Congratulations. Okay. Now we can adjourn. No, I have to do the next thing.
The agreement.
The agreement. Damn, I'm just so excited. Okay. I was like, whoops. All right. It's okay. It's okay. Were you gonna say something, Alex? I know. I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what's the next thing. Can I have a motion? Well, we have to say what the motion is. What am I reading? Which is the motion?
District Retirement Incentive Program.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt the district retirement incentive program? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes. Now may I have third time's a charm, motion to adjourn? Thank you.